This week's Extra Life on F5 Live Refreshing Technology is proudly powered by EXA. EXA brings the latest technology to gamers, offering the most immersive products for the ultimate gaming experience. They've compiled the best elements of cutting-edge ENC tech, the latest in Bluetooth 5.0 and 7.1 surround, plus extra features into their headsets so everyone can enjoy a sensational gaming experience. And they've got headsets for Xbox, PlayStation, Switch, and PC. Plus, they won't break the bank. Learn more about the headsets that are available and any current promotions by going to f5live.tv/exa. Well, a couple of months ago, we talked about an interesting issue that was going on in the gaming world. That issue was that Adult Swim Games was going to delist 16 titles that they had been the publisher of. Now, if you don't intimately follow the gaming industry, you may not know exactly what the structure is. There are two main parts to the industry. There are the developers, the creative people, the ones that sit at their computer and create artwork and program and user experience, test, all of that. And then there are the publishers. Now, when a developer is done, they might or might not use a publisher to help bring awareness, get higher reach, and in some cases be responsible for the back end, things like that. In this case, Adult Swim Games, which used to be William Street Games, was acting as the publisher for these titles, many of which were independent titles that were developed outside and then published by Adult Swim Games. Now, contracts between publishers and developers can vary quite wildly. Sometimes you give most, if not all, control of your IP to the publisher. Sometimes, if they decide that they don't want to be involved anymore, the rights revert back to the developer. And in some cases, all assets and everything transfer as well. In the case of Adult Swim, everything was going to revert back to the developers, except the actual store listings for the games. It might sound like a small thing, but some of these games have been around legitimately since the William Street days. I think one of these titles is at about a decade since it was published. And by pulling it, along with it goes screenshots that players have submitted, ratings for the game, community conversations, and in this case, up to a decade worth of these conversations and ratings and screenshots and videos of in-game achievements and things like that would all be wiped out. The developers asked Warner Brothers, the several layers up parent company that made the decision, can you just transfer the store listings to us? Here's a video on how to do it in Steam. It's really easy. It'll take you less than a minute. And Warner Brothers said no. Behind the scenes, over the last couple of months, discussions have happened, and it looks like it has worked. It looks like the indie developers will be getting their store listings transferred over to them. This is a big win for the developers. This is a big win for the fans of the game who could have had content that had been lost through this. And it does kind of go to show that, community engagement can work. Yes, Ugly Sonic got fixed in the first Sonic movie because of community feedback, but oftentimes it feels like, the things that fans say fall on deaf ears, and it's good to hear that this time that didn't happen. Last time we talked about this, Avram, we talked about, a lot of the problems with modern gaming, and it's good to see that in this case it fell on what I believe to be the right side.
Yep. I mean, it's good. It's good to actually see something finally happen. That's positive. So,
One of the things that's
I
interesting
mean,
is all of these games were supposed to have already been delisted, and the date has passed, and they're still up, and they seem to still have the Adult Swim games name on them. So I think they decided earlier than the actual email to the developers that they weren't going to just delist, that they were going to hand the store pages over, and either forgot to tell people or something, because it came out this week, but the time bomb already theoretically went off and nothing seemed to happen on that date. So I don't know what they thought the benefit of holding the store pages was. In reality, that's really what it comes down to for me. It's not like they were losing anything by giving over the store page. They were shutting the game down. What do they care? The whole thing's weird.
Yeah, I agree, but we see this all the time with places in their intellectual property, right? Companies kill games and then they sue people for trying to bring them back to life.
Mm-hmm.
They don't they don't sell movies or music, but then they sue people for pirating the same things they can't buy. So it's not uncommon for companies to do the wrong thing. It's uncommon for them to do the right thing.
Yeah, it does seem that way. Google AI. Yeah. So I'm glad that and it's Warner Brothers, right? Since the merger, Warner Brothers has not set themselves up as the good guys in general, right? With canceled movies that were done, and Warner has been walking around in a crowded room kicking everybody in the shins and then wondering why people are unhappy. So here, I think they made a good move. I think this was the right decision. They literally had nothing to lose in doing this. The rights to the games were reverting back to the developers. They were allowed to republish them. They were just going to have to create new store pages. This takes less than 60 seconds to make the transfer. They were out absolutely nothing in this, and the fact that they fought it for this long, absolutely baffling. But I'm glad that the end result is that the developers are getting their games back, getting the store pages into their names, and a big piece of gaming history, like actual history, reviews and screenshots and all that, isn't going to be lost. Hello, YouTube. Thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this episode of F5 Live Refreshing Technology. If you did, please subscribe to the channel down below, and of course hit the notification bell, because we know that subscriptions don't mean much on YouTube anymore. If you've got topics that you'd like us to talk about in the future, please comment them down below. And if you'd like to not follow us on YouTube, there's lots of ways that you can follow along with our content by going to PLUGHITZlive.com/subscribe. There you'll see all of our shows and all of the ways that you can watch, listen, and follow along.